contains a harsh dose of reality when it comes to professional wrestling. If you are a salty bastard or a delusional idiot, I would highly recommend you tune out of this stream because it starts right fucking now. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms! And I would like to welcome all of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am. Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. And I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to the 6th annual special edition StormsStream right here on YouTube.com. And my guest today on the StormsStream, he is a loyal member of the DJ Storms posse, huge independent wrestling fan, and he was also one of the fans whom I've interviewed when I was at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, SummerSlam weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Zach Albert. What is up, Zach?
DJ, thank you so much for the fantastic introduction. How are you doing today?
I am doing fucking awesome. We are here. We are live on YouTube.com, and it is now time to get into the best fan interaction show in the wrestling community. So why don't we get straight into the festivities? What is up, Joa? We're going to get right into the festivities with the weekly show reviews. Also, for those of you who are watching, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Be sure to leave me a comment. And if you want to get in contact with me, go follow me on Twitter at VDJStorms and Instagram at VDJStorms. And, you know, if you want to talk to me, if you want to get on a StormsStream, converse with me, I'd be happy to have you on a StormsStream. So, also, if you got any questions for me and Zach, please feel free to ask away. We're going to be here for like an hour and a half anyway. So, Monday Night Raw. Also, we got a Super Showdown playing in the background if you couldn't tell. So, Monday Night Raw kicked off with Ambrose addressing the Shield, rumors and reports. Ambrose says he's going to stick by the Shield. Corbin comes out, basically makes Ambrose versus Strowman, trying to get Dean Ambrose to turn on the Shield, throwing bones at Dean Ambrose in the form of title shots against the Shield. Yeah, the mystique of this heel turn that Dean Ambrose is eventually going to be thrown into, it's just been ruined. We have 5 people watching. Be sure to comment, ask questions. But it's just ruined. It really is just ruined. Zach, are you watching the StormsStream and being a guest on? I think that's a first.
Hey, you gotta support any way you can.
That has got to be a first. You know, this is why I'm having this guy on the StormsStream, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, Strowman versus Ambrose. The match was just it was just fucking boring. Shannon, what the fuck is up, girl? Oh my God, I've been waiting for you to tune in for a long time. All right, so basically it ended in DQ. The Shield interfered. You know, who the fuck cares? Zach, would you like to share your thoughts on this?
Okay, so obviously with Superstar Showdown, that obviously impacts what the storyline's coming up for this upcoming Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and NXT.
Obviously.
But for this in particular part, it's interesting because as they were hinting in Raw that the Dogs of War, or what I call the Monstrous War Dogs, they were hinting that they don't want any weak links, and the one who took the pin at the Superstar Showdown match was Dolph. So I think that this storyline is going to have more intrigue, in my opinion, than the Shield's win does, because I think Ambrose at this point is still, he wants to be with the Shield, but he got Superman punched in the match by Roman. There was a chance where he could have, gone one way or the other, but really the Dogs of War with Dolph getting pinned was really the bigger storyline for me.
I don't know how you can still call them the Dogs of War. It's just such a cringy fucking name, man.
I mean, we have Authors of Pain, Dogs of War. I think they like to follow certain, similar naming conventions. But
I guess.
No, I agree with you.
But anyway, we're moving on. Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was carrying Roman through this match like a fucking baby. I swear, like a mother carrying a newborn child. Where's Jake? I don't know where Jake is, Joe. I was tweeting him that the StormsStream was coming on. You could tweet him. Maybe he's got something going on. But Ziggler was carrying Roman through this match like a fucking baby. Like a mother carrying her newborn child out of the hospital. But yet, people want to hype it up as if Roman Reigns is one of the greatest of all time.
Well, he's great at selling. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's great at selling, but ultimately, in the ring, he's decent at best. Jake just liked one of my tweets. I just got the notification, so he's going to be coming sooner rather than later. But anyway, what were your thoughts on this match?
Well, with Dolph's contract situation still kind of in the air, any performance for him, especially when he can elevate who management wants pushed, it's obviously a good look for Dolph. Reigns, ever since No Mercy against John Cena last year, I haven't seen the continued growth that I want. Obviously he's a fantastic person, but Dolph is the better performer.
Absolutely.
Dolph is the better entertainer, in my opinion. Now, a lot of go entertained because, go, ooh, ah, and, big dog. But, only so long can that be entertaining.
It was never entertaining to begin with. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm giving the good fans of his that, I respect them and they have respect for the industry. And, it's got to be a tough situation to be, supposed face, but you have mid-card talent.
Yeah, I get the point. I find it quite laughable that you said good fans, because I have yet to meet a good fan of Roman Reigns, all except one. But anyway.
Well, they say negativity is stronger than positivity.
The power of positivity, unless you're the New Day. Then we got the New Day and the bar playing in the background because they got the power of positivity.
Honestly, those five, really, I know 4 can only compete at a time, but those 4 men put on a performance in the tag division that, in Raw it's sputtering a little bit, but in SmackDown the tag titles have kind of been hot commodities.
All right, but anyway, then we had Ronda Rousey defeating Ruby Riott. It was a decent match for what it was, but they could have done so much more with this match than they already did. What were your thoughts on this match?
So, my opinion was if Liv was going to be cleared for Superstar Showdown, then they were going to keep the same matchup. Because Liv, came back earlier than some probably would have expected to.
Liv came back, but Brie shouldn't have.
They're trying to continue a storyline for now, and I'm sure she'll be off wrestling until this feud is over, unless they do the whole Ronda versus Nikki, and then if Nikki wins, then Brie could be like, well, you betrayed me at Royal Rumble, and then, we're back to the Divas era. But, with creatives booking, I don't know. I wish Ruby pinned Ronda and forced the title match at Superstar Showdown rather than the matchup we had.
That would have been a hell of a lot of a better decision.
Shannon Bellas will probably disappear after Evolution.
I hope.
Well,
I fucking hope.
I think that we're in an era where it's clear you actually have to have talent in the ring in order to survive.
Which the Bellas don't.
I know in the past, Trish had talent, Lita had talent, Molly Holly, Ivory. Those are some of the most talented wrestlers to ever step in the ring, male or female at times, because at times the men's division would go stagnant and the women had to step up for their own sake.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see Ruby versus Ronda at Superstar Showdown, but if it happens at Evolution, I'll be happy just as well.
Yeah. But anyway, after that, Connor defeated Bobby Roode. No one gives a shit. B-Team defeated The Revival, and then AOP attacked afterwards. The Revival put on a great fucking performance against McIntyre and Ziggler, then you have them lose to the fucking B-Team again. But anyway, after that, I tapped out. For the first time ever, I don't think I would ever say this in my fucking life. Monday Night Raw has become so bad that I actually tweeted out that I was tapping out to do college work. I never thought those words would be coming out of my fucking mouth. Going off and stepping away, tapping out of Raw to do college work. That's how you know Raw.
Want to know something interesting about Connor of the Ascension's win?
Yes.
That was his first singles win in over 3 years.
God, what the fuck have they done with the Ascension?
It was an NXT taping where he was a singles competitor. It was his last singles win before that Monday Night Raw win. I was like, wow, that's something else.
But after that... I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
No. I was going to say, I mean, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, they deserve better. I really think that, some people say, oh, Gable's green or whatever, and, Roode should be a heel. But Roode should be a heel, and Gable has so much, untapped potential, in my opinion, that they're just wasting him.
He really does. But anyway, after that, I tapped out. Dean Ambrose was talking about how he could have been Intercontinental or Universal Champion. Seth versus Drew ended via DQ. Well, not via DQ, or via a Claymore after Drew took advantage of the distraction that Ziggler did. Ziggler distracted Seth, so Drew picked up the win. And then after that, we had Elias and Owens. They got major heat. Kevin Owens then got the win over Bobby Lashley. Bayley defeated Alicia Fox, and then the Brothers of Destruction attacked HHH and Michaels. Do you want to comment on anything else? Because I really don't want to fucking talk about Raw. Or do you want to say, just a few more thoughts, and then we'll move to SmackDown?
I think, honestly, at this point, the fact that the old-timers of Triple H and Undertaker are being so heavily relied on to keep the fans interested means that creative is not creating the new wrestlers' characters well enough, or when they create them, they give up on them too quickly. Example,
it's
Bayley.
It's
Finn.
fucking disgusting, man. Finn wasn't even on Raw.
Well, I mean, it's amazing because really, I think he should go to 205 Live. I really do.
Bad idea, man.
If he's going to keep being a joke as he is on Raw, have him go to SmackDown first, and if they treat him the same way, then
yeah, he should go to SmackDown.
Hunter.
Have him go to SmackDown. I think they would offer him a lot more on SmackDown.
I guess if Jinder win WWE Championship, then that would probably...
How the fuck does Jinder win the WWE Championship before guys like Sami Zayn and guys like Neville? How does Jinder Mahal win the championship before guys like McIntyre or even Balor? Balor hasn't even gotten a proper rerun. He hasn't even gotten a proper restart.
Yeah, really, once he got injured, they kind of just gave up on him, which is sad because the attention span of creative should be longer than a wrestler being out for 6+ months.
All right, so we're going to move on from the monstrosity of Raw. SmackDown, I would say it was somewhat of a decent show. Somewhat.
Yeah, SmackDown is keeping it up.
It's trying to remain a little consistent, I would say.
Agreed.
But anyway, so Paige was talking about Samoa Joe and how he committed the most dastardly crime in WWE history, which was a complete exaggeration. Styles was being interviewed from his home, and he would say he promised to bury Joe 6 feet under in the land down under. No pun intended there. But then obviously they faced off at Super Showdown. I didn't watch. I saw the results, but I haven't watched the full show. I saw the New Day match with the Bar and then Charlotte and Becky. 2 decent matches. Not too keen on the endings, but we're going to. I'm going to see the rest once this StormsStream wraps up. But R-Truth and Carmella defeated Vega and Almas. It was a fun match for what it was. I don't like the fact that they're treating Almas almost like a jobber. I don't want to say jobber. He's not getting buried, but he does really deserve a lot more. R-Truth and Carmella get the win as Carmella defeats Vega, makes Vega tap out with the Code of Silence. What were your thoughts on this, Zach?
I honestly think Carmella, ever since dropping the title, has really been taking advantage of it in terms of not having the pressure of being a champion, being that heel champion that, quote, can't wrestle, quote.
Yes.
And that transition that she had on Vega was impressive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. She is. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but since SummerSlam, she's been doing very, very well. Ty Dillinger wanted a match with Orton. He went to Paige, requested the match with Orton, and the match was made. New Day cooks. The Bar interrupted, and then the Bar beat them down, and then poured pancake batter on Mr. Bootyworth. Obviously, that led to the tag team match, and as you can see right now, the New Day just won. But that was that. Ty and Randy Orton didn't even get into a match. It was just an all-out brawl, and it ended where Randy Orton put Ty Dillinger's finger right through the steel rod that connected the post and the turnbuckle and started twisting and manipulating it Pete Dunne style. Do you think that Ty Dillinger and Randy Orton are going to continue this feud, or do you think Ty's going to get a shot at Nakamura?
Yeah, so I wonder what's going to happen with this, because it seems like each time Ty goes after one, the other interferes. And I'm not sure what they want to do with Ty. I mean, I hope he gets a United States title opportunity. I think he's been waiting long enough for that chance.
Yeah.
Randy Orton is a wild card because he went after Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Now he's going after Ty, and does that mean he's going to go down the card, or is he just going to attack anyone and everyone?
I don't know.
Like Legend Killer. I hope Ty gets a U.S. title opportunity, but I think maybe one more match with Randy first.
I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't mind it. One night in Milwaukee. Lana wants Aiden English. So Aiden English showed the video. Rusev was standing there with almost a confused look on his face. And from there, we had Aiden English trying to practice his vocal cords and his warm-ups while they were in Milwaukee. Lana comes in, says, "I want you," and then the video cuts. And then Rusev chased after Aiden English. So apparently there's more. I don't know if they're going to continue it. I hope they do. But what were your thoughts on this?
I mean, anytime you bring in a marriage feud, that can get real dicey. Now, of course, if nothing ever actually happened and this is all a joke, then obviously, then nothing real life would be implicated. But, it got me. I was like, wow, like they actually went through with this. So, but I do think that it could be one of those where if they ask Aiden, why did you show the footage? They could say, well, it was eating at my conscience, and I felt I needed to tell my former tag partner what really happened. And, it could be real interesting. They could make it look like Lana's real bad, or they could make
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Do you think Lana, shouldn't be in WWE, or do you think that this is just, really entertaining more than anything else?
It's getting there. I would say Lana is a work in progress in the ring. She should really just be managing Rusev at this rate. But, from what we've been getting, it's not horrible. So I'm willing to give it a chance and let the rest play out. And we'll see what happens.
Agreed.
Shelton Benjamin versus Daniel Bryan. This was a very good match. And if you did not see this, I would highly recommend you go back and watch it. Shelton Benjamin wins with the pay dirt after The Miz attacked. Daniel Bryan tried to thwart The Miz off. Daniel Bryan ran right into a pay dirt. Shelton Benjamin wins. So, good win for Shelton Benjamin. And afterwards, The Miz attacked Daniel Bryan ahead of their match at Super Showdown. And in case you don't want to hear the spoilers, cover your eyes and ears right now, because 3, 2, 1, Daniel Bryan defeated The Miz. And Daniel Bryan is going on to Crown Jewel to face AJ Styles, who defeated Samoa Joe, unfortunately. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, with Daniel Bryan actually winning, I think that Shelton Benjamin should be legitimately considered being added to the WWE Championship match at Crown Jewel. Because honestly, outside of Daniel Bryan beating The Miz, why would they have him when he gets the WWE Champion match? in general. That's kind of where I was going was, well, the guy who just beat the new number one contender doesn't have a title match.
I wouldn't mind it. It's like a hit or miss at this rate. We're going to see where that goes. But Asuka defeated Peyton Royce, and then Becky Lynch had a Super Showdown surprise. She revealed a new poster, and then Charlotte attacked. And as you already know, Charlotte Charlotte won by disqualification at Super Showdown. So the final match is going to take place at Evolution. Moving on to 205 Live. SmackDown, I would say, average show. Hell of a lot better than Raw. Raw makes SmackDown look like WrestleMania, but it was average. Wasn't as good as we've been getting. 205 Live. 205 Live was a very well played out show. We had a lot of good wrestling on 205 Live. Akira Tozawa started the show off defeating Jack Gallagher in a good match. The crowd was much more alive. So 205 Live is also a work in progress. They keep on doing 205 Live before SmackDown Live, and the crowd will get more and more into it. So Tozawa won in a good match to start off the show. Drew Gulak brought back the PowerPoint presentation, which I am a big fan of, and apparently he was saying that he was indirectly saying that Brian Kendrick is a weak link. And from that, Kendrick turned face. And Gulak and Jack then beat down the Brian Kendrick. So Brian Kendrick is now against Gulak and Jack Gallagher. What were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought this was real interesting, considering that Gallagher was the one who lost the match. But with Brian Kendrick, I mean, he's really done everything in the Cruiserweight division at this point. Now, is he going to win the Cruiserweight title, like, soon? No. So, I think, if anything, he should be heavily considered being brought back to the main roster. That's my opinion. I just don't know what else is left for him in 205.
He really should. You know, all Cruiserweights should be on the main roster at this rate because mainly the fact that they're restricted to a weight limit, it really is fucking disgusting.
Well, Buddy Murphy, he's proving that if you put the work in to qualify for that arbitrary rule, then they deserve to be going against the big guys.
Oh yeah, with that doubt. Buddy Murphy, he's come such a long way. And in case you didn't know, Buddy Murphy's the new Cruiserweight champion. He has come such a long way, and I couldn't be more happier for the guy. But the guy really is a main event talent. He really is. But moving on, we have Lio Rush's Open Challenge next week. In the main event, Kalisto defeated TJP in a great match, by the way. This was back and forth, innovative offense. Kalisto ended up winning. TJP tried to rip the mask off. Lince Dorado came out. That allowed Kalisto to get the roll-up win, but TJP ended up ripping the mask off anyway. So I assume that this rivalry between TJP and the Lucha House Party is going to continue. What were your thoughts on this, Zach?
Yeah, TJP certainly playing a villain role against Lucha Libre. Now, some people would say, well, why are the luchadors able to put their masks back on the next week? Well, because it's not a mask versus mask match. So I wonder if they're going to try to go down the line of, like TJ saying, I want to take one of your masks off for real in a mask versus hair match. That'd be interesting.
You really think TJP is going to put his hair on the line?
Sometimes it's not up to him. Let's just say that. No, I don't think it would happen, but I'm just trying to think of where they can go with this whole, like, ripping the masks off storyline.
Yeah, I see. But what were your thoughts on 205 Live? Do you think it was a good show, decent show, great show? Where did it rank for you?
Well, considering since Royal Rumble, 205 with the Cruiserweight tournament and all that, like, those were such high-quality shows that obviously you're going to get some, like, every third or fourth week where it might be a B-quality show, but it's still better than, like, what Raw does. So I'd still think that
You're kind of cutting out there for a minute. Could you, yeah, you were kind of cutting out there.
So, yeah, I think that even though it wasn't like an A-plus quality show like some of the others have, where you had Cedric versus Buddy for the championship. At one point you had, Murphy versus Ali for the title. There were no titles on the line, and this was more storyline built. So, sure, it may have not been like an A-plus show, but it still isn't bad in my opinion. I think.
Oh, it was still good for what it was.
For sure.
Now, moving on to NXT, everybody's favorite show of the week. NXT. Nikki Cross is a lunatic, and I'm loving it. So she knows who attacked Aleister Black. We still don't know, but we are going to find out sooner rather than later. The show kicked off with Lacey Evans defeating Candice LeRae. It was a decent match for what it was. Lacey Evans is really coming along. What is up, Nathan? How you doing? He was on the 5th annual StormsStream last Saturday, if you want to go check that out after this StormsStream is done. Again, anyone who's got any questions for me and Zach, feel free to shoot. So, Lacey Evans won. Candice LeRae let her emotions get the best of her because Lacey said she was a failure, just like her husband. And in the end, Lacey Evans caught Candice LeRae off guard with the women's right. And Lacey Evans gets the win. What were your thoughts on this?
Considering what was done, like before she was in the WWE, where she was, throwing through tables and chairs and thumbtacks and all that, the fact that she gets defeated by a, right hand punch, it's tough to believe if you have followed anything before her tenure in WWE, but it's a storyline. It's, it's tough for me to love that finish, but Lacey is proving that she's getting better every week as well. And I think that she's one of the better heels on NXT right now.
I would say so. Her and Belair, aside from Baszler, her and Bianca Belair are really coming into their own as quality heels.
I agree with that. Also, Shayna, in my opinion, is the best on the mic, maybe in the entire company. I mean, she's a natural with the microphone.
Hold on. Shannon said, literally brings me back to when they did the default women's slap in the video game. So, apparently, you're not a fan of Lacey Evans, are you? So, Shannon, you're not a fan? I'm a fan, but yeah, I agree with you to an extent. Lacey Evans does need to get a better finisher. I like that springboard moonsault off the middle rope. I would rather have that as her finisher. But sorry, Zach. Zach, could you speak a little more clearly into the camera, mainly because you were kind of cutting out, and it kind of sounds like mumbling.
Apologies.
That's all right. But anyway, next week we got Dunn versus Cole versus Ricochet for the North American Championship. Shannon thinks her gimmick is awesome. She has improved a lot, but yes, she does need a better finisher. Ciampa called out Velveteen Dream, and he said that if he steps to him, Velveteen Dream's going to be living in a nightmare. So things are going to get very interesting if we have Ciampa versus Dream at TakeOver War Games, match of the year candidate. That's all I gotta say. Brandon, what the hell is up? Where have you been, man? I haven't spoken to you in 2 weeks. You get suspended from Twitter again? What are the salty bastards trying to report you? They can't handle the truth, brother. They can't handle the truth. But what were your thoughts on Ciampa calling out Dream?
Well, I think it was only due because of Velveteen kind of bringing up Ciampa's name in interviews on camera, and I don't think that Ciampa is the kind of villain that you want to, blame for anything, because if he were to do something, he would be the one to own it. So
Ciampa's been owning everything basically nowadays.
He's the Project Blackheart.
Then we had the Forgotten Sons defeating some jobbers. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm liking the Forgotten Sons. I really like that gimmick where they're going with that. They're going to do whatever it takes, and they are going to cement their name in history. They are not going to be forgotten anymore. And the fact that their in-ring style is very, very brutal, I would say. It's a very brutal, rough around the edges in-ring style, and that's what I like to see. Wesley Blake, he's got a hard-hitting repertoire. Steve Cutler, I would say, is pretty underrated. He's not bad in the ring. Jackson Riker looks like a beast, and I'm very much looking forward to what the Forgotten Sons are going to offer. Oh my God, Brandon, you have no idea. You have no idea, Brandon. Guy's a fucking loser. I'm telling you. But anyway, what are your thoughts on the Forgotten Sons, Zach?
I think Jackson Riker is the one that's going to put the pieces together for this team.
Okay.
I think with Blake and Cutler, I don't think that they themselves have enough charisma to really catch the NXT audiences like, desires. His finisher, basically power bombing onto the top rope and then to the canvas, that is really a unique finisher. And I think that they're going to contend for the tag titles, but you have Street Profits, you have the Mighty, you have the Heavy Machinery.
Yes.
You have some amazing tag teams. So will it be immediate? I don't think it will be immediate, but will the War Raiders beat Undisputed Era and then have the Forgotten Sons, two extremely tough teams fighting each other for the titles? It's possible. But I think that this team has a good, bright future, maybe not immediate.
Yeah. So do you think that possibly we could see the Forgotten Sons contending for the NXT titles possibly around NXT TakeOver Brooklyn next year, or would you say give it a little more time?
Well, considering SummerSlam is going up to Toronto, I believe, next year, is TakeOver Brooklyn going to be the same time?
I'm not sure. I would say so. Oh, by the way, guys, yes, report him. Be sure to report him after this StormsStream. Because, we need to do everything in our power to make sure that guy learns his lesson. Oh my God, you don't even want to know. This guy named Lit Mantis on Twitter.
Oh, Lit Mantis.
No,
yeah,
he's a fucking loser, the guy. I swear. The guy is really a burden to this community. He really is toxic. I mean, he's a 3-year-old living in a 30-year-old's body. That's all I'm going to talk about him, because I don't want his toxic name on this sacred StormsStream. But anyway, moving on from the Forgotten Sons, Johnny Gargano, Johnny freaking Wrestling is back. And this match with Tony Nese, holy shit. I keep on saying that Tony Nese is underrated. This match proved it again. And I'm not saying that just because it's Johnny Gargano. Tony Nese and Johnny Gargano put on a great fucking match. Great match. I didn't think that these guys were going to put on such a great match. Yes, it was the match of the week. I didn't think these guys were putting on such a great match, but by the end of it, 12 minutes, these guys stole the week in wrestling. This match and Kalisto versus TJP really stole the week in terms of wrestling. What were your thoughts on this match, Zach?
I agree with your sentiment on both of those matches. I think they were both... they both told stories. They both had great in-ring action. I mean, it's been a pleasure to have great wrestling, even in a company where at times they don't value that as much.
Yeah.
Boy, I've been impressed.
He's speechless, ladies and gentlemen. That's how good these two guys are. But then we got Lorcan and Birch cutting a promo, and I would say this is a very good way to introduce the WWE Universe to the character sides of Lorcan and Birch, how they are being portrayed as underdogs. So I like this. I think Lorcan and Birch have a lot of potential. They could be a great babyface team.
I love this tag team.
They put on a hell of a tag team match at TakeOver Chicago.
It's just they remind me of that old school wrestling, but also with that tenacious British technicality side that they stole the show at TakeOver. And I believe it was New Orleans, right? It was
in Chicago.
It was Chicago.
Chicago.
And it was so it was TakeOver Chicago. They proved to the entire world that they could compete with right now the best stable in the world in Undisputed Era. And they have a bright future because of the talent they have. Impressed every time.
Do you think that the match at TakeOver Chicago with the Undisputed Era was better with Lorcan and Birch, or the one at Brooklyn 4 with Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era? I was at TakeOver Brooklyn 4, and so was he. We saw Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed Era live. I thought it was fucking phenomenal. But what about you? Do you think this was better, or do you think Lorcan and Birch versus Undisputed was better?
Well, they're great in their own ways. Because the people already knew that Mustache Mountain was a credible tag team.
Absolutely.
And they're going to be contending for, they contended for the NXT tag titles. They're likely going to contend for the UK tag titles.
Yes.
But with Lorcan and Birch, the fans, they didn't necessarily before the match started believe that maybe they should belong there at that match. But they put on a show with the Undisputed Era. So it's
absolutely.
So it really depends on how you look at it, where going into Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era, the expectations are so high because we've seen such high tag teams from them before, like where Lorcan and Birch, they're newer as a team and they still prove that they can do it. So it really depends on how you look at it.
If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one,
he's torn.
Just because I was live, I'll have to say Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era. But in my opinion, they were that close to each other because they were that good, both matches.
I agree. Tag team wrestling really is amazing. You are 1,000% right, Brandon. So in 2 weeks, we got Cross versus Belair, the rematch. And then next week, along with the North American Championship triple threat match, we got Keith Lee versus the finest, Kona Reeves. I like Kona Reeves as well. I don't care what anyone says.
The Living Meme Machine.
The Living Meme Machine. That's a great fucking name. Put that on a t-shirt.
Every time you look on Twitter, you'll see Kona Reeves just like screen caps of him just like reacting, and he's just a meme machine.
Put that on a t-shirt and sell it. Millions of dollars right there.
Meme machine, Kona Reeves. It works.
So then, in the main event, Lars Sullivan defeated EC3. I thought they were going to give EC3 the win here, but this was a good match for what it was. It only went like 10 minutes, but in 10 minutes, they fought like it was the main event of WrestleMania. They gave it their all in this match. This was a fight, legitimately a fight. These two literally beat the shit out of each other. EC3, he is no slouch. He was shoving Sullivan into the steel steps. He was body slamming Sullivan. He was hitting crossbodies and drop kicks. Lars Sullivan, he's no slouch either. He was instituting his power game. In the end, Sullivan hit a freak accident on the apron and then hit the diving headbutt from the top, which looked great. So, Lars Sullivan won. I think that was the wrong decision. I think EC3 should have won. I wonder, when are they really going to start pushing EC3 to that prominent role? We all know Sullivan is great, but I really want to see EC3 in a major role. That's why I think he should have won against Velveteen Dream. So what were your thoughts on this match before we move into our second topic here on the StormsStream?
Well, as you may know, I love Lars Sullivan. I think that man has so much talent, and people say, "Oh, he's a generic, big guy like
Hell no.
Snitsky or Ryback." But I'm like, this guy has more talent than both of those guys like put together, in my opinion. He can spit a promo for a big guy. He hits a diving headbutt. He does cross fights. I mean, how can you not love the guy? But
The guy is a freak. It's exactly what his nickname is. He's a freak.
yeah, ever since he went from Dylan Miley to Lars Sullivan, he's really embraced that gimmick. For EC3, now this is an interesting topic because with EC3, I think that they want to build him as the next babyface, but be more confident than like Gargano. So
Does he work better as a babyface or a heel?
Probably a heel, but with the way NXT has like Ciampa as NXT champion as a heel, it's tough to do an EC3 Ciampa match right now because EC3 would be the babyface in that match because Ciampa's just too good as a heel. So a lot of it deals with timing. Now, if Keith Lee were to have a feud with Ciampa, that would be something.
Oh my god.
EC3, I think if he goes heel, he could definitely contend with Ricochet for the North American Championship.
I would love that.
Considering that opening in the inaugural North American title match had Sullivan, EC3, Velveteen Dream, all these characters, Lars Sullivan, all these characters we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Other than Killian Dane, I mean, these guys can go from mid card to. Yeah, I'm sanity being wasted on SmackDown is not making me happy. But considering Ciampa as a heel right now is probably not, like as the champion as well, is not helping EC3's case. Because EC3 should be a heel. And
I guess so. Heel. I mean, we'll have to see how that plays out. I get what you're saying. But anyway, that wraps up the weekly show reviews. We're going to move into our second topic here on the StormsStream. Let's talk about Crown Jewel. Yeah, I heard, Joe.
Oh, yeah, Joe, I heard about that. Hurt. That literally makes my soul hurt.
I hope it's not too bad. I hope it's a lot less severe than they are hyping it up to be, because I don't want Pete Dunne to relinquish the UK title. And yes, Nathan, Super Showdown was a disaster. So you heard that wasn't that serious, Nathan? I hope you're right, because I actually want Pete Dunne to legitimately lose the title rather than have to relinquish it, because he is running strong with that
title. In my opinion, he's the best in the world right now. He's like 24.
Yeah.
He's like in his early 20s. He has this brutal British style that is like just so captivating, in my opinion, to watch. He reminds me of William Regal, but actually getting the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
I mean, who is the only person in your opinion that can actually take this man down? Because he's had the title over 500 days.
To be quite honest with you, I was thinking about that. Well, you got Noam Dar, who has still got a number one contenders match. Gibson's a great heel, but I don't think he's the right guy. I would love to see Mark Andrews do it, because That's
exactly who I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Mark Andrews.
Yep.
I would love to see Mark Andrews win the title.
Bring the title into 205. Bring it out.
Maybe not. Maybe Mark Andrews or Flash Morgan Webster, but I would go with Mark Andrews.
Agreed.
So Crown Jewel predictions, and we are basically
Neville as well.
We'll get into Neville later. So Crown Jewel, 2 matches have already been announced. It's Daniel Bryan versus AJ, which is going to be a great match. And then we got the triple threat match for the Universal title between Roman, Strowman, and Lesnar. So we are going to predict the rest of the show. Crown Jewel. Apparently, there's supposed to be like a tournament. I don't know. Like, is there supposed to be some type of tournament that's supposed to like crown crown like a give
It's
some
like a
kind of-
World Cup almost.
Yeah, like a World Cup. Is it like an 8-man tournament or I don't know.
So I haven't investigated the details yet because I kind of heard that rumor as well, and I was like, well, it's interesting in theory, but I kind of want to see how they do it.
If they do
Because
it,
but what would it be for if we already know the WWE and Universal Championship matches? So I'm kind of like,
I don't know. Well, they did do the Greatest Royal Rumble, and Braun Strowman won, and it wasn't really for anything.
yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, well, this tournament would be cool, but like, is it a number one contender spot guaranteed any title that they want? That'd be kind of cool, you know. But
If they if they do it, I would give it to Almas.
Oh, I think that man is the one who's going to be the one to dethrone AJ down the line.
Really? Really?
Yes, I do.
I actually think the Miz is going to do it, and then Bryan's going to win the Royal Rumble, and we're going to get Bryan versus Miz at WrestleMania.
I think that's so predictable, and I just have a feeling that it's not going to happen that way. I just think
predictable's not bad.
Vince, I think was on the fence about Almas. And I think when Almas had that match against AJ, the first one where he lost because he submitted to the calf crusher. But from what I heard, management loved that performance. And I just think I think they're going to love him more than Del Rio.
Del Rio really is a piece of shit. He really revealed himself to be a piece of shit.
He's fucking garbage. Excuse my language, but he's garbage.
No. You could curse however many times you want. This is DJ Storm's territory. We can do whatever the fuck we want on here.
You know the babyface in me has to apologize. No, but but no, I just ever since seeing him and Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship in NXT Philadelphia. I didn't have my phone out the whole time because I was just looking around at the crowd and just it was as if like because my brother's a huge Eagles fan, so they won the Super Bowl and it was like the parade was the same feeling, that energy. It was unreal, probably the best night of my life.
Let me tell you something. I missed it, but when I went back and watched it. And I didn't look at the spoilers. I swear I was like walking around my house. I watched it alone. I was alone. My dog was laying down and I was watching it. I was sitting at my dining room table eating some lunch. I literally put my sandwich down after the match had already surpassed 5 minutes. And I was literally like, my eyes were glued to the screen. I could not take my eyes away from the screen. It
just shows that if the booking is done correctly, any match can be great. And it's just, that's part of where it always comes down to. Like, why do we say parts of shows are bad? It's, we care about the quality of the product, and we want the fans to feel like that there's just not like, well, why did one day this guy was this, and then the next day all of a sudden it's just something different, and it's, just those things.
This is what I'm fucking telling you, people. This is what I say every single time. It doesn't matter how good the wrestling is, and I live by a code. The booking always makes or breaks the show. The show could be the greatest wrestling show on earth, but if it's not booked correctly, it's going to be a thumbs down show. That's just how it goes. That is just how it goes. But that match was also that good because of the wrestlers in the 5-star machine. Yeah, obviously it's a 5-star machine. Obviously 5-star machine right there. But regardless about Almas, we're kind of getting off track there. So
because I said he was going to dethrone AJ.
Yeah. But as far as Crown Jewel predictions, I'm going to go with the matches that haven't already been announced. I would love to see Seth Rollins versus. Let me think. I would love to see Seth Rollins versus maybe Elias or Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title. I would love to see that because Seth Rollins needs to lose that Intercontinental title. He isn't really doing anything with it. but I would love to see Seth Rollins lose the title to either Elias or Kevin Owens. I would love to see Nakamura versus Almas. If Almas is not in the tournament, I would love to see Nakamura versus Almas for the United States Championship. There's been a rumor going around that it's Rey Mysterio versus Almas, or Rey Mysterio versus Nakamura, excuse me, which I really wouldn't mind. Oh, speaking of Rey Mysterio, this is a report. According to PW Insider, apparently Rey Mysterio is making his return at SmackDown 1000. So then we got that. Tag team titles. I would love to see, or McIntyre. I wouldn't mind McIntyre either, Joe. McIntyre versus Rollins.
It depends on if he's still holding the Raw Tag Team Championships at that point.
I think they should drop the Raw Tag Team titles to the Authors of Pain at TLC.
Authors of Pain would not be a bad direction. I also think the Revival should finally win the titles, but I mean they've been teasing that for like months now. So
I don't even know, but. We have that. I would love to see McIntyre versus Authors of Pain at Crown Jewel, and then that could lead into the match at TLC. I wouldn't mind that. SmackDown Tag Team title match. I would love to see Sanity versus The Bar for the tag team titles. If The Bar happened to win the tag team titles from the New Day, or they could do The Bar versus the Usos. I wouldn't mind that. As far as the 8-man tournament goes, I would see Finn Balor versus Elias or Kevin Owens, Jinder Mahal versus, maybe if they want to put Dean Ambrose in there, they could put Dean Ambrose in there. I would love to see, bring Apollo back. I would love to see Apollo mix it up in there. Put Apollo in there with Bobby Lashley. I wouldn't mind that. Maybe we can get a good match out of Bobby Lashley. Moving over to
what does Apollo build at?
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
His weight is he? He's not at 205.
No, he's like almost 240.
Okay, gotcha.
The guy's jacked.
Yeah, no, I mean, his height is deceiving. I just wanted to make sure that he. Yeah, 240. Okay, so
yeah.
he'd have to do a Buddy Murphy and just like shred any fat on you and just
I don't think Apollo really has fat at all because I'm
probably not.
Yeah, Apollo's jacked. But for the Raw side, then we need one more match for the Raw side. I would probably do
Finn.
No, I already put Finn in there against either Elias or Kevin Owens. Let me think.
Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode versus... Maybe if they want to put Constable Corbin in there, I guess they can. And then on the SmackDown side, I would have Almas versus Truth. I would have Dillinger versus Benjamin. I would have Rusev versus English. And then I would have... We need a fourth match. Let me think. What's some good talent on SmackDown that they haven't utilized? I would love to see...
Miz versus Sin Cara.
I wouldn't mind that. Or if they want to put Samoa Joe in there, they can. Because Samoa Joe is out of the WWE Championship picture, unfortunately. But I would love...
His gimmick is he's going to hype up matches that he loses.
That's fucking disgusting. It is fucking disgusting. But I would love to see... Miz versus Sin Cara isn't a bad one. But I would love to see Almas win that. Almas or Finn wins the whole thing. I would love to see Almas and Finn as the finals, if that takes place. But those are my Crown Jewel predictions. What are yours?
For the 8-man tournament? Or
but everything. Everything outside of the WWE Championship picture and the Universal title picture, because those have already been confirmed.
Okay, well, I'll make my picks for those first, because I haven't made those yet. I have AJ beating Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
I don't think it's Bryan's time to win the title yet.
Okay.
Universal Championship. Now I'm trying to think, because of how they booked the Universal Championship, I want Braun to win.
I swear to God. Please, for the love of God, the wrestling gods, have Braun Strowman win. So I will not have to be hooked up into a hospital bed with an IV in my right arm, hooked up to life support because I'm going to lose my shit if Roman wins. I'm going to lose my shit.
Well, you know who I think they're going to have win? And I really hope it doesn't happen?
Who?
Lesnar.
I don't care. Get the title off of Roman. Give it to Lesnar. I don't give a shit.
It's one of those where it's like, do you want a champion who you don't like so much that shows up every week? Or do you want someone who you don't even think about that much, but like not show up? Like
I would go with the latter because Roman Reigns is a fucking cancer. And I'm not talking about the man, I'm talking about the character for those retards out there who do not get what I'm talking about. Oh, by the way, apparently, everyone's getting thrown into a panic just because I used the word retard loosely when I called Roman Reigns fans retards. Really? You're getting thrown.
I mean,
yeah. Look,
I'm gonna jump in on this one. I'm not a big fan of the word, but I mean, I know it's because it's very habitual for some people, but it's something that should not be used in really when you're talking about stupidity or idiocy.
Well, that's mainly what I use it as. Like that's the thing. Like I don't use it very often, but when I do, honestly, like who gives? Who gives a shit? People look. This. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I just wanted to get this off my chest. People have become way too sensitive nowadays. People have legitimately become way too sensitive nowadays. Now, obviously, I know there's a lot of things that are incredibly intolerable, and I'm going to name a few. Racism, intolerable. Sexism, intolerable. Intolerable. Just to name a few. But if I call someone a retard as a way of calling them stupid, just because I'm using it in a sense that means you're stupid or you're an idiot, just to kind of in a way advance my vocabulary, then why the fuck do you care? Why the fuck do you care? I'm not trying to insult anyone who has Down syndrome. It's ridiculous. That's just me. People have become way too fucking sensitive nowadays. Now, and I actually had to, reword everything. I had to explain shit, blah, 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 all this other bullshit. But anyway, that's just my little mini rant, and I don't want to spend too much time on that because this is Zach's time. So I apologize about that, Zach. But what were you going to say?
Trying to think of what wrestling we were talking about.
We were talking about... Yeah, we were talking about Crown Jewel predictions.
So yeah, AJ over Daniel Bryan, and I think they're going to book Lesnar.
I don't care. Give it to Lesnar. Give it to him.
I want Braun to win. I think that's just the best for the product because, the fans loved him, and yet they still were like, well, let's see if we can change that. It's like,
yeah, you're going to turn him heel when everyone is gravitating towards him?
I mean, oh, man.
I hope not, Nathan. I hope not. I hope Braun's not getting pinned.
By whom?
I don't care. I really don't care if it's Braun or Brock. Just have Roman lose the title.
And then, let's see, any other matches?
No, just those two so far. Just those two so far.
All right, so I think Dillinger versus Nakamura for the United States Championship.
Okay.
I think Rollins is going to get into a storyline where he's going to have to defend the Intercontinental Championship kind of thing, where Corbin kind of says, you need to, you haven't defended it in, close to 30 days or whatever. Try to be one of those official, commissioners. And he's going to have to defend it against... Kevin Owens.
I would love it. What else we got?
For the Raw Tag Team Championships, they're going to defend against Logical Thing says Authors of Pain.
I would go with it.
Just because, Middle East, and you have guys of Middle Eastern descent, like, it would, and especially if they win, then you have like a Buddy Murphy reaction.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think
So
Razor's like from Albania, I believe.
Yeah, they're Albanian. Okay, so I mean, not exactly like,
but you know what I mean.
Close, but relatively speaking, they'd be more over than Drew and Dolph.
Yeah. All right. What about the SmackDown? Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, because Dolph is going to get kicked out of Braun and Drew's group soon. So.
Oh, okay, but what about the SmackDown Tag Team title side?
So, New Day obviously still have the titles, and they're probably going to defend against.
Against whom?
Well, I'd like Sanity to finally get their push, but I think the Bar are going to get another opportunity.
So the Bar's not going to win until Crown Jewel?
I think they're going to win. They're probably going to win the titles at Crown Jewel.
Okay. Oh man, I almost forgot about this. I didn't pick a Cruiserweight Championship match. If we do see a Cruiserweight Championship match at Crown Jewel, I'm going to go with Cedric and Murphy Part 3. What about you?
That would make sense because he would have his rematch clause. So.
Did you see Brandon's comment? Did you see Brandon's comment on the stream? He said, like, they don't care about the prestige of their WrestleManias anymore.
WrestleMania was one of those things where I think it was always preferred to be entertainment over the wrestling a lot of the time, where, down the line, like, Vince always saw the entertainment value of WrestleMania.
Now it's become more about the wrestling.
And I think it's, they're forced to make sure that the wrestling is good at times, but they're obviously going to have their own agenda in there where they have like Cena and Nikki beating Miz and Maurice. It's like,
don't even remind me, man. Don't even remind me.
So they're always going to have instances where they don't care about the actual prestige of like wrestling at WrestleMania.
Nathan just commented, greatest WrestleMania after next year. He's calling it.
It's going to be called the greatest WrestleMania?
I swear, he's calling it. But anyway, let's hear your calls for the tournament, and then we're going to move on to something that you wanted to address, actually.
So for the tournament, if they have one, and it would be 8 competitors, you said?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so that would be 4 from each brand. So, Elias.
Okay.
Would go against Finn.
Okay.
Jinder would go against Rude.
Okay.
On the SmackDown side, because Almas would not be contending for a title at the time, so yeah, it would be Almas, and he would get. I think here. This is from the SmackDown side.
You Rey Mysterio?
I wonder if he'd actually be. I mean, I guess it would make sense if he was in the tournament.
Maybe.
But would he go against Almas at the beginning? Yeah, that would make sense.
You still got Miz, you still got Sin Cara, you still got Shelton Benjamin.
Because I like the matchups you gave. I mean, they made sense in terms of like face versus heel and stuff like that. So, I mean, I really was gonna pretty much go with those same ones.
You were pretty much gonna go over the same ones.
I mean,
is there anything
for Miz and Sin Cara, you can go back to the whole like Sin Cara offered to be the babysitter, and he had the mask, and just kind of like just do like one of those like stupid little like
Yeah.
storyline, man. You know what I mean? Like just like things like that. And I'm sure you could pick up a couple like matchups like that, but I mean, Miz would obviously win
Yeah.
that matchup and almost would win his match. You know what I mean? Like,
I hear
and
what
with
you're saying.
Finn,
I hear what you're saying. What the hell are you gonna
is
do?
Finn going to continue his downward spiral, or is Elias going to go keep losing after now that he lost to Cena again? It's like,
What are they gonna do with Elias, man? I mean, like, Elias has been floating around in a sea of nothing for far too long. I'm telling you.
he should have won the Intercontinental Championship from Roman Reigns back in last December.
That would have
100%.
been. That would have been a huge crowning achievement for Elias. But anyway, we are moving on from the crown jewel predictions, and I'm going to give some time to Zach because he's got some big announcements. Zach will be attending Bound for Glory, Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory in New York, and he will also be going on the Jericho Cruise. So could you tell us about Bound for Glory and the Jericho Cruise, what you will be experiencing?
Absolutely. So, as you all likely know, independent wrestling in general, so you have Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Lucha Underground, they have been really keeping up their game and really making sure that they're giving a competitive product against WWE. And we are excited to bring independent wrestling onto the streams, the StormsStream here tonight. For Bound for Glory, there are 6 confirmed matches. And the first match here, Matt Sydal and Ethan Page. Ethan Page actually just made his Impact debut this past week on Impact, which is Thursdays, 8 to 10 on Pop Channel currently. So Matt Sydal and Ethan Page will be going against Rich Swann and a partner of his choice.
Oh, so that's it's a tag match. Okay.
That's correct. Now, we don't know who Rich's partner is going to be yet, but there are really lots of good options in Impact Wrestling, especially with now the management being a lot more stable in terms of, paying their employees.
Yeah, I would say so.
And, I mean, some people say, well, they were joking about Impact, like, constantly on social media, and it's like, well, it's a totally different product. So this is a great time to watch Impact. This Thursday is the, following up episode, the penultimate episode before the pay-per-view. So
I think I might tune in if I have time, depending on if I have college work. If I have college work or if I need to take a call, because next week I'm going to try and plan another StormsStream with someone. Hopefully Shannon. You and me, we can Skype later on, possibly on Monday. We'll talk about that later. Hopefully I'll be able to get her on the StormsStream. But what are the other matches aside from that tag match?
So we have a singles match between Eddie Edwards and one of his former best friends in Moose, where Moose has joined Austin Aries and Killer Cross's heel stable.
Ooh.
Where Eddie is really going after his whole feud with Sami Callihan with the baseball bat hitting him in near the eye and stuff.
Yeah.
He really has gone to this interesting character where they think he's crazy and all that, but he's a babyface in this story.
I like it.
And that match is going to be real interesting, considering Moose, went against Aries at Slammiversary in a match that some people were not sure was going to be good, and it was very good.
Yeah.
It's tough to predict that match, but I can totally see Moose continuing the storyline of, now being better in this heel role, but Edwards is going to be the crowd favorite, in my opinion. Next match, we have the Knockouts Championship match between challenger Taria Valkyrie and the now champion Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, that should be good. That should be very good.
Tessa won the title from Su Yung.
Yeah.
And she has been having this kind of character where she knows she's great, and she's still, going out there and putting out great matches. Taya, is coming back from an injury type situation and hasn't been on TV for a little while, but they're giving spars to each other, verbal spars, and it's starting to heat up on social media as well. So this is going to be a fun match.
All right, number 4.
We have Ohio versus Everything, OVE, which is Dave Chris, Jake Chris, and Sami Callihan versus Brian Cage, the X Division champion, Phoenix, and former Impact World Champion Pentagon Jr. in an OVE rules match.
That should be good. I think that should be a canvas match.
Oh, that's going to be a slobber knocker. I mean, there's just going to be, OVE rules match. I can look up what the whole stipulation of that means, but considering how OVE is, I'm trying to find a quick definition here, but all the other matches here that they're showing are pretty intense matches here. So it's a hardcore base variation match. So that's gonna be fun.
So the fifth
then we have the Impact World Championship match between Austin Aries, the champion, and challenger Johnny Impact.
Is he going by a new name? I heard he's supposedly going by a new name.
Oh, Johnny Impact?
Yeah, I thought he was, if I'm not mistaken.
That may be a different promotion because he's in a whole bunch of different promotions.
Oh, okay.
So, in Impact, he's Johnny Impact. In Lucha Underground, he is, I believe he's Johnny Hennigan. In WWE, he was Johnny Morrison. He just changes his last name and it works. I don't know if you've been looking at social media today and stuff regarding this, but Austin Aries has been with some now deleted tweets. There were some controversial tweets out there. Not sure if you caught any of that. He's
I caught it.
Valkyrie is his wife, and he was he called her husky, and and there were some other things if he was saying, if I were to insult the races or all the but he was.
The majority of what he was saying was intolerable. I only agreed with a little portion of what he was saying because I just did a rant about it earlier. But the majority of what he was saying, it was out of line, but it was controversial, which is I can respect controversy, but because my name's Mr. Controversy for Christ's sakes. But he took it a bit over the limit. But what were you going to say?
Yeah, and with this happening, I'm really wondering if Impact is going to, because when I first saw the match come around, it was it almost seemed like Austin was clearly going to retain this, but I'm really not sure how, if Impact is we don't want these kind of erratic tweets coming from our world champion, then
I think they're going to give it to Johnny Impact. I think they are going to give it to Johnny Impact.
I think he's going to win it. I do.
And the 6th match.
And this will be the main event match in a concrete jungle death match. Excuse me. The Latin American Exchange, LAX, who is Santana, new LAX, of course, Santana, Ortiz, and Conan, are going against the OGs, Hernandez, Homicide, and King.
All right. So
basically,
what were you saying?
These guys are going to be killing each other. They're going to be. They've already gone against each other in street fights. The storyline has gotten to the point where King of the OGs, the manager, there was a part in the storyline where there was such violence that a little kid is a passerby gets critically injured, and he at one point goes, like, I'm glad it happened. I wouldn't change anything. And like Conan like starts to like lose his mind, and like it's gonna be real good. They're gonna kill each other.
It should be a pretty damn good show so far. But I want to hear from you about this Jericho cruise. I have been interested in it. I'm not going on it because I got a lot of shit to do. It's probably the busiest I've ever been in my life. What's up, Maniacal JC? People are taking it the wrong way. Social media is what it is. You're right. You're right, Maniacal JC. Also, go check out Maniacal JC on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter, and go check out his SoundCloud. Go check out his SoundCloud. Yeah, he's got some good songs. Maniacal Master was my favorite song out of the few songs that I've listened to from him. He's got some skills when it comes to music. But I want to hear more about this Jericho cruise before we move on to our fourth topic.
Absolutely. So, from Miami to Nassau, Bahamas, and back, Chris Jericho is hosting a cruise where they are going to have music, podcasts, live wrestling, and they're going to have a tournament where there are 16 men.
Okay.
And the winner will be guaranteed a world title opportunity for the Ring of Honor World Championship or the Impact World Championship, depending on, if they're, champion or not at that point.
Yeah.
So
Are you going with the supposed rumor that Jericho's signing to Impact, or no?
I think Chris Jericho will make an appearance on Impact at some point soon. Yes,
really?
I do. Yes, I think Impact is finally now at the point where they have established, Anthem has established themselves that as, a company that actually cares, like, to the fullest extent. And I think Chris is going to make an appearance at some point. Yes, I do.
Should be pretty good.
I don't know how soon, but at some point he will.
Should be pretty good. I would love to have you back on the StormsStream. Maybe the second time around when it comes back in January. And if you want, you can talk about the Jericho cruise and all that.
Of course, yeah.
But anyway, so go check out Bound for Glory. And, if you're going on the Jericho cruise, you're going to have a hell of a time. But now we're going to move on to something that really shook the foundation of the independent scene, because the King is back! Or as he said, I am Pac! Pac, a.k.a. Neville, is back. He returned to Dragon's Gate. And he is now part of Dragon's Gate promotion, so we should be looking at some pretty interesting matches and storylines for Neville. So, Zach, I want to hear, what do you think the future holds for Neville? Could we see him in New Japan Pro Wrestling or in Ring of Honor in the future, or is this strictly just going to be to Dragon's Gate?
Well, I think for a little bit he's going to be in Dragon's Gate, because that was one of the promotions before he joined WWE that, he enjoyed and, really helped build the character that he is. But then again, you can also see him come back to the States and, try to go for like Ring of Honor, or go to Japan. Well, stay in Japan and go to New Japan.
Where's Dragon Gate?
Is Dragon Gate in Japan?
I thought it was.
Let's see.
Is it like in his is it in his home country?
Dragon Gate is in Japan.
So he is in Japan. Okay.
So, depending on, because with New Japan, they are now getting saturated with talent as well, where, they have a lot of talent. They do have a lot of titles.
Yeah, and now we got Cody versus Ibushi versus Omega for the IWGP Championship. That's like in less than a week, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they obviously have the Never Openweight Championship and all that, but if he signs with New Japan, is he definitely going to get a push? Because of all the talent they have now. Because Tanahashi's getting repushed, Jay White's getting pushed. And you see Ibushi and Omega and Cody. I mean, a lot of it will depend on where will he be happy.
To a certain extent, yeah. I was thinking about that.
We were concerned for a while.
It was over a year, right?
It was like September 2017 that we last saw him on Raw after he was basically forced to relinquish the title to probably the biggest cancer in wrestling history, but other for in-ring talent. Because Neville should never lose to Enzo. But Pac being back is, it's good to see that, because he was gone for a while, and I wasn't sure if he was ever going to come back.
Yeah, we were all just collectively holding our breath for a year. When is Neville going to return? Is he ever going to return? And then out of the blue, he just makes his return at Dragon's Gate. So, we could be looking at a lot of good matches. If Neville does sign with New Japan, I would love to see Neville versus Kota Ibushi. If he goes to Ring of Honor, I'd love to see Neville versus Jay Lethal. I'd love to see
Flip Gordon.
Oh yeah, Flip Gordon. I was just about to say his name. You took the words right out of my mouth. I would love to see him versus Flip Gordon. I would love to see Neville versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Neville versus Cody. So we got a lot of good matches. I would love to see Neville versus Skrull. Skrull really opened my eyes. That match with Kazuchika Okada at All In.
All In.
That proved right there that Marty Skrull is a main event level talent. He is a main event level talent, no matter what the fuck you say.
And I agree that I also think that his significant other, Deonna Purrazzo, is also a main event talent.
She's from Jersey. She's from Jersey.
And I think when she was offered to be an alternate last year for Mae Young Classic, that sparked a competitive drive that I think she's gonna be a main event talent, or at least should be. That's my opinion.
I actually saw her wrestle. I saw her wrestle at GCW back in April of 2016. It was an honor to see her wrestle. I also saw Leo Rush wrestle at that event. I saw Leo Rush. I saw Crowbar, Christopher Ford, whom I've interviewed on the channel. Gunnar Trash was there as well. Smiley the Clown, Pinky Sanchez. But Deonna Purrazzo, mainly. I think that she's going to be doing big things now that she's signed with NXT. I wish her the best of luck. And I think that we could be getting some rather interesting matchups. Deonna Purrazzo is athletic as ever. But what other dream matches would you like to see with Neville before we move on to our last topic?
Other dream matches with Neville. I kind of want to see him against Bully Ray. I mean, just
really?
I think that, you have that match where they may join each other's sides afterward, where it's they try to out-evil each other, and then they're like, why are we even fighting? And then they just start, wreaking havoc on others. I just think it would be real interesting to see those two in the ring.
Two dominant heels?
Two dominant heels, and then they realize, why don't they just dominate the whole division together? But face-wise, obviously, Flip Gordon is probably the one that jumps out the most.
Flip Gordon is phenomenal. I love Flip Gordon. That was the first time I saw him wrestle against Jay Lethal, and my God, the guy can wow you. The guy knows how to wrestle. So I would love to. I was actually hoping that Flip Gordon was going to win the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship.
Well, I think that he's not done in the main event scene.
Really? You really think he's coming back for more?
I think he will come back soon enough, whether or not it's immediate or not. I think that he's catching fire. I think he's he's only going to get more popular, in my opinion.
All right.
But I think Adam Hangman Page is like an unreal talent.
I can't believe I forgot about him. The guy like had one of the most brutal matches I've seen with Joey Janela. I can't believe I forgot about him. So if they do that, I would love to see that.
Be something.
But anyway, we covered Neville's return and what the future might hold. So this was a topic that I originally wasn't going to talk about because I didn't watch Fighting Spirit Unleashed, New Japan Pro Wrestling's pay-per-view. But we're going to talk about this to wrap up the StormsStream before me and Zach head out as we are approaching 90 minutes. Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Mauro Ranallo were at Fighting Spirit Unleashed front row. So I don't know if there's going to be any repercussions. I hope not, because if there are, that's just WWE being fucking petty. That's just WWE just being almost, I want to say, jealous. I think that WWE is starting to become jealous of the quality of shows that New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor, and they've been kind of working hand in hand. I think that WWE's become jealous at how good their shows have been coming. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. WWE is a company where the money's always going to be there. WWE is such a global-wide company that money's always going to be flowing. But the fact that you have more and more people starting to gravitate towards New Japan, since when was WWE ever petty? Yeah, right? They've always been petty, maniacal, JC. But the main thing is the fact that, so many people are gravitating towards Ring of Honor and New Japan that WWE is starting to see their fan base kind of dwindle a little bit. As you saw, Raw this week drew the lowest ratings ever. 2 weeks in a row, the first and the second lowest ratings drawn in Raw history. So, you have that, and then you have the fact that All In was a huge success, and now Fighting Spirit Unleashed. I'm not sure if they're going to take it out on their coworkers, but regardless, I don't know. I mean, Zach, what are your thoughts on this?
So I think that they're extremely lucky that they are in the NXT umbrella. I think that Hunter kind of, he probably saw it before Vince did and was, probably said, hey, hey Vince, people are probably going to say that there were a few superstars at a rival promotions pay-per-view, but they didn't do any wrestling. They just, they were saying hello to people they knew, nothing major, and that's probably why we have not heard of any repercussions for any of those superstars.
Probably. Joa.
But
Joa, you said that. Well, what did you say? I think I missed that. You said Styles was an example of how. What was Styles an example of? I'm not sure if he was replying to Maniacal JC or not. Never mind. Continue.
Sorry. Got to get back to where I was on that. So. You lost my train of thought there, DJ.
It was about how Hunter heard about these.
So yeah, he probably heard about these appearances on the pay-per-view because he was probably watching it because he's a wrestling fan,
of course.
And he probably told Vince these are big superstars, and I know with Morrow you've had your stuff in the past, but I need him in NXT. I think that's why they haven't heard any repercussions. I think they'll be all right. Now, if Io Shirai loses to Toni Storm at Evolution, would I be surprised? Well, this might be the tip of the iceberg for Vince, where he's like, okay, well then Tony's gonna win the Mae Young Classic.
Well, I was actually calling Tony to win no matter what. I was actually calling Tony to win no matter what because considering Kairi Sane won last year, are they really going to have another Japanese superstar win this year? Io Shirai is already signed. She's already signed to WWE. I think Toni Storm, she's a part of the UK brand. And considering that Toni Storm is almost the greater story here, I want to say. Yes, you're right. Io Shirai is the AJ Styles of women's wrestling. But I want to say that, considering that Toni Storm has had such an incredible story, and the fact that she's almost been portrayed as a huge underdog, I would really love to. I'm really voting for Toni Storm to win this one. So I really didn't think they were going to give it to Io Shirai.
I think she was going to win it anyway.
Yeah.
But but if that was like the tip of the iceberg for Vince, like that's probably what it was. It was like, okay, yeah, it's definitely going to be Tony now. But Morrow, I mean, we know the history of Morrow in the main roster and NXT and why some is better, like, why the NXT works better for him and stuff. So I don't think that this changes anything for that. And then Kairi, she's the NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah.
Were they planning on Shayna winning the title again? Or
I don't think so.
Roster?
I don't think so. I think
Shayna's the main roster.
Yeah, I think Kairi Sane is going to be facing Bianca Belair at TakeOver War Games, and they're going to stem that feud off. I don't think Bianca Belair is ready just yet. I think they're going to put her in against Kairi Sane, and then they're going to have Kairi Sane win. And yes, her match with Shayna Baszler was great, Brandon. They're going to have Kairi Sane win, and then they're probably either going to have the rematch on NXT TV or probably a TakeOver LA, I think. Is it TakeOver LA or TakeOver Phoenix where the Royal Rumble is being held in 2019?
I think it's Phoenix, but let me see.
Yeah, so he's just going to look that up. It's TakeOver Phoenix? Oh, okay, thank you, Nathan. So it is TakeOver Phoenix. So at TakeOver Phoenix, then I think that's when Bianca Belair is finally going to get her big moment. Because I think Kairi Sane should have a title reign over 100 days. Just like Shayna Baszler did, just like Kairi Sane should, just like Ember Moon did. So I would say Bianca Belair versus Kairi Sane at NXT TakeOver War Games, just to throw my prediction out there. Storm has HBK and Shawn Michaels, or HBK and Bret Hart in her. She really does. She really does. I really wasn't thinking about that, but now that you mentioned it, I do kind of see it.
It's like a rock star.
Yes, I do kind of see it. She's got that rock star-like feel with, her Shawn Michaels type attitude, and Bret Hart because she's just so technically sound. She has a great technical ability in the ring. But, you have any last words on this incident with Shirai, Sane, and Ronaldo?
I don't think so. I think that this is not going to be a major issue. I just thought it was interesting that they were there. But I think, if you're a wrestling fan, like, you want to just see good wrestling. That's
True.
Kind of, but then I don't think Triple H would do anything. He'd probably be there if he could.
Yeah, right? Oh, no. Can he technically? He can technically. He's the CEO of the company.
Yeah, I don't see how, and he's his son-in-law. It's not like he's going to be like, oh, you're not my son-in-law anymore.
Yeah, I don't think Vince would be that petty. Like, Vince McMahon is stupid, but I don't think he would be that stupid.
I don't think he could. He's married. It's not like Vince could be like, you're divorcing Hunter right now. I just don't think. Yeah, no way.
I
don't think that
would be
like storyline
that would be like a new level of pettiness and ridiculousness rolled up into one. That would be a whole new level. But hopefully everything turns out well. I don't really see anything too major coming from this. Considering that, we haven't really...
this would have been a bigger issue, like, 5 years ago.
Yeah, probably. Because, NXT wasn't really at its peak back then. But now NXT has really become such a global phenomenon. It's been putting on match of the year candidate after match of the year candidate after match of the year candidate. So I would say, Triple H is really taking it to a whole nother level. No, Nathan, I didn't get 2K19 yet. I have a lot of shit to do, so I don't want to spend my money on 2K19 just yet and, just not play it, considering I got, the DJ Storms brand, because who the fuck doesn't love the DJ Storms brand? Only the losers don't. And then, of course, I got college work, I got a job, so I don't really want to go through all of that and spend my money on 2K19 and not be able to play it. Zach, do you have it yet?
No, I'm probably gonna wait until it's like discounted.
Oh yeah, that's probably
know,
that's probably what everyone's gonna do. Like everyone's probably just gonna wait until around Christmas time, and they're just going to drive straight to Walmart or GameStop for it.
I mean, like if they like down the line sell the ultimate, like the deluxe or ultimate edition with the DLC for like $35, then I might do something like that. But I don't want to spend like $60+ on it just because
it just came out. Oh my god, I have to have it. Really? It's been horrible.
Some people have not liked it.
I heard it was an improvement from 2K18. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I think 17 was better than 18.
Really?
But I feel some people are saying that the game this year was the one that should have came out last year, kind of thing. But it's. I miss SmackDown versus Raw.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I was 8 years old, when I was like 9, 10 years old, when I was just getting into wrestling, me and my dad, we used to play the original SmackDown versus Raw, and it's let me tell you, it was really something. I was having the time of my life as a freaking as a freaking 10-year-old, just sitting in my basement playing SmackDown versus Raw. I have SmackDown.
You just hear like the Soul Factory remix of Symphony of Destruction when the game starts. You're like, this is the good stuff right here.
Yeah, I know. Like, what has happened? Are they like focusing too much on realism?
Well, I think what happened was THQ was bought out by some. I think they were like bought by somebody else, like by 2K, and then it kind of like changed to a different product. But yeah, my career is, from what they're saying in the comments here, they're saying that has probably been the biggest improvement. And is that enough to drop 60+?
No, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have just finished the final topic of the 6th annual special edition StormsStream. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into the StormsStream live. You guys are the real ones. You guys are the reason why I do this. It's because I do this for shits and giggles. That's how I started it. But now that I'm getting support, now that I'm getting some positive feedback, no problem, Maniacal. I'm always willing to shout out people. I'm always willing to have people on. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheDJStorms. Be sure to check out the 5th annual special edition StormsStream with Nathan Heinz, who is currently in the chat right now. If you want to go follow him on Twitter, he will direct you to his Twitter. I'm not sure if this is going to be every Saturday, like whenever I really have the chance. Most likely it will be next Saturday. I'm going to talk to either Shannon or Lix. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nathan. Zach, where can we find you? On what social medias?
Okay, so on Twitter, you got me at Zach A Sports.
Okay.
ZACHASPORTS. And then on Instagram, that's more of just like, you'll see pictures of my dogs or some pictures of me, but that's Zach for the Nakama. Then that's ZACH, the number 4, and then that's NAKAMA. But all my main wrestling stuff in terms of the news and stuff mostly comes through Twitter. But you're always welcome to reach out, and I'm willing to talk to anyone. So, DJ, thank you very much for having me on the show.
No problem. No problem. I really do appreciate it. I've had a blast here on the StormsStream. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. He's Zach Albert. And this has been the 6th annual special edition StormsStream. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will catch you hopefully next Friday, depending if I have time for the Lightning Flash update. Thank you very much for tuning in, Shannon. Hopefully I'll be able to talk to you later, and we can get some details on you may be coming on the 7th StormsStream. Peace out, guys.
Have a great